What is up, you guys? This is All Day Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you a video for the gunner on the rotation, and just pretty much a guide, ability guide, you know, just showing you what the gunner has and what you can do with the gunner. So let's go ahead and take a look at the abilities. So you have three different stances. You have machine gun, plasma rifle, and missile launcher. We're going to go ahead and go over the machine gun real quick. So with the machine gun, this is pretty much your these three abilities, Fire Blast, Rapid Fire, and Full Auto, are pretty much your go-to when you're trying to build up resources, because those resources that these three abilities are building up for is for your plasma rifle. So that's all you really should be using the machine gun for. You shouldn't be using it for the main damage. You shouldn't be using it for ad clearing or whatever, or boss fights. You should only be using it to build up your plasma rifle resources. So as you can see, it says in Fire Blast, so it says inflicts 2.69 damage to all enemies in a narrow line and increases the heat energy by each heat energy level by 75. Sorry, I just had a brain fart right there. But yeah, you increase your heat energy level by 75 right there. So that's 75 resources for the plasma rifle. Rapid Fire inflicts 507,000 damage to enemies in a large area in front of the gunner, increases the heat energy level by 30. When overheating, Rapid Fire may inflict ignition to the affected enemies. So that means you can put the enemies on fire. You have a chance of putting them on fire. Full Auto, it's pretty much the same exact thing as Rapid Fire, but instead it's a single target ability. It's not a group ability. So aimed fire that inflicts 1.2 million damage to the enemy and increases the heat energy level by 15. So just like the last one, they do the same, but this one gives double the amount that Full Auto gives, and this one pretty much gives double and some change. It pretty much gives the double and some change, like 45 more than Rapid Fire. So what you would be doing is you would use Fire Blast first to build up your heat energy by 75, and then just use Rapid Fire. Don't even worry about using Full Auto. Full Auto is a really good ability though if you're trying to do some damage while building up your heat charge or heat energy, but Rapid Fire is going to be what you're going to want to use after you use Fire Blast, so that way you can build up your heat energy fast. And then you've got your Teleport Beacon. Teleport Beacon, you can use this anytime you want. What would be useful is the fact that Teleport Beacon also can give you a shield. So right over here on talents, you have armor plates regeneration. If the gunner does not take damage for 8 seconds, they gain 1 armor plate that absorbs damage equal to 25% of the gunner's max health. The plate is restored instantly when using Teleport Beacon. So that means if you use Teleport Beacon and your shield, let's say your shield breaks and this shield is on cooldown, your power barrier, you would just use Teleport Beacon and then you have a shield again for 8 seconds. Now next to the next shield, you have Power Barrier. Creates a shield that absorbs damage equal to 40% of the gunner's max health for 6 seconds and protects them against control effects. Removing the shield will create a shockwave that knocks the nearby enemies away, slowing them down for 2 seconds and inflicting 1.65 million damage to them. So that also sounds really good. I never actually witnessed it myself with the shockwave. I guess I just never really paid attention to it, but if it happens, then that's really nice. But I only use it just for the shield, to be honest. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone uses the power barrier just for a shield. But do make sure you do use the power barrier after your what's this called, armor plates is gone, I guess. Once you don't have any armor plates, just go ahead and use the power barrier, so that way you can use, or you have some time of building up your power plates or armor plates again. And then you got switching mode, which is the stance switch, which is you tap triangle or tap Y and then it'll take you to plasma rifle. You hold triangle or hold Y, it'll take you to missile launcher. And then you have accelerated heat exchange. So what this is, it's not going to be useful for neither machine gun or missile launcher. This is only going to be useful for plasma rifle. So accelerated heat exchange says plasma rifle inflicts 50% more damage and does not consume heat energy. The effects last 10 seconds longer. So this is going to let you do more damage with the plasma rifle, pretty much. So let's go ahead and take a look at the plasma rifle. So you only have 3 new abilities. You have Plasma Field, Plasma Stream, and Pulse Shot. So Plasma Field, you pretty much slow the enemies. It's a CC, but it also does damage to the enemies every second for 6 seconds. So it does damage over time for 6 seconds, pretty much. Like I said, I don't know if I just said it slows the enemies down by 70%, but it's by 70%. Another thing about plasma rifle is if you use pulse shot with enemies inside the plasma field, it'll pretty much do a like a chain reaction, I suppose. Yeah, it says a chain reaction is triggered that inflicts 1.35 million damage to all enemies in the field. If there is not enough heat energy, it will inflict 139,000 damage. Meaning, if there's not enough heat engine, you run out of resources. So if you run out of resources, you can't use plasma field. It requires 90 resources. Next, we're going to go to plasma stream. It requires 105 resources, by the way. So it's about half of what you have. So it says focused beam inflicts 12.5 million damage to the selected enemy in 3 seconds. Inflicts 200% more damage to shields. Inflicting damage with plasma beam or plasma stream leaves a residual charge on the weapon that increases the damage of pulse shot by 40% for 3 seconds. The effect stacks up to 4 times. So what you're going to want to do is, I would probably say you would want to use I want to say plasma field first, but it's a 6-second cooldown. Because I'm trying to figure out, because you can use pulse shot. I mean, if you use plasma stream, it'll increase the damage for pulse shot, and pulse shot's going to be the one you're going to be doing a lot of damage with. But I guess you could use plasma field, then right away use plasma stream, and then just use pulse shot right after. And another thing about the plasma rifle is it does a lot of damage to all 3 abilities. Do 200% damage to shields. I don't know if they actually stack with each other. If they stack, that'd be really awesome. But if they were to stack, I guess it would only be like 400% because plasma field does... Oh no, the chain reaction inflicts 200%. Well, I guess it could technically still stack with pulse shot and plasma field. Oh well. Anyways, back up the with explaining the abilities. Pulse shot inflicts 1.02 million damage to the enemy when there is not enough heat energy. It inflicts 510 damage. Inflicts 200% more damage to shields. Activates impulse charge. So what you would normally do, like I said, plasma field and pulse shot go good with each other, and then plasma stream and pulse shot go really good together as well because of that 40% damage buff for 3 seconds, and the effect stacks up to 4 times, which is really good. Now we're going to go to a missile launcher. This is when you hold triangle. So with missile launcher, you have these 3 abilities. You have mine ring, homing guidance system, and missile salvo. So the mine ring, it says it places 3 charges around the enemy, which explodes in 3 seconds and inflicts 3.55 million damage. The gunner's damage dealt is increased by 15% when they attack this enemy, as long as they stay within the mine ring. The effect lasts 6 seconds longer if the enemy takes damage from the mine ring. So what that means is you're basically going to be getting a 15% damage buff for your I'm just going to call them mortars or your rockets or launchers, missiles, whatever. So the mine ring is a good buff, but it also does a nice little AoE damage as well, because it'll lock onto one target, but it also hit targets around that enemy. So now you got homing guidance launcher. Launches projectiles at the enemies in front of the gunner over the distance of up to 40 yards. Each projectile inflicts 2.19 million damage to its target, and it reduces their movement speed by 50% for 1 second. So homing guidance system is more so an AoE mortar or missile launcher. It doesn't focus necessarily on one target. It hits multiple targets. So I would normally never really use this on one enemy. I would only use it if there's a group of enemies, at least 2 or 3 enemies or more. And then missile salvo, this is your single target mortar. Launches a projectile at the enemy inflicting 2.19 million damage, has a 50% chance to launch 2 missiles instead of 1. The probability and bonus to damage are doubled if the target is affected by mine ring. Each missile salvo attacks increases its damage by 9% for 3 seconds. The effect stacks up to 10 times. So what makes it even better is if you use mine ring, you're going to be getting that 15% damage buff, but not just that, you're also going to have it increase the probability of missile salvo by pretty much up to 100% chance to shoot 2 projectiles, and then the damage also being increased, and then missile salvo itself increases its own damage 9% for 3 seconds for just using it, just for using missile salvo. It does use your resources though, so you have to be aware of that. And then you also have Orbital Strike. Orbital Strike is just for all 3, doesn't really matter which stance you're in. Inflicts 16 million damage to all enemies in the selected area and stuns them for 2 seconds. So it's good because it's got a stun and it has some decent damage. And then you got Elimination, which is your L2, and yada yada yada. So I'm going to go over each thing for each stance again. So these 3 are good for building up resources for plasma rifle. And then the plasma field and plasma stream are good buffs for your pulse shot. So you don't want to use pulse shot without either using plasma stream or using plasma field. And then accelerated heat exchange, you can activate that whenever. I would probably just activate it whenever you have after you've already used one of these 2, so that way your pulse shot does even more damage, 50% more damage. And then missile launcher, the mine ring is going to give you 15% more damage to either or of these of your choice, but you'd be benefiting it more for your missile salvo, especially if you're on a boss fight. You're going to be definitely wanting to be using missile salvo. As long as you have charges, then you're going to be using missile salvo. Don't be using anything else. And then yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look. So I've already done some damage to this boss, testing it all out and whatnot. We're just going to build up charges. Well, as you can see on the bottom left corner where it says 300 to 300, the purple bar, that's your resources for your plasma rifle. Now the one on the right, the orange bar, 20 out of 20, that's the resources for your mortars. As you can see with the mortar, I can't move anywhere. It makes you stuck in one spot. But with this, you can move around. And then with the plasma rifle, you can also move around. So I'm going to just go ahead and build up my plasma rifle again. So let's pretend I need to build that up, yada yada yada. So what you would normally do is you would use the flame turret flamethrower first to build it up by 75. Then just use this. I'm just going to call it the spray and pray, just so you can build up more resources faster. Or you can even use this one if you're trying to do some damage and build up resources. So once you build up your resources above 200, I'd say over 200, at least 300, because of max, it's not too hard. You would go down, or you tap triangle or tap Y, and then you use your plasma rifle. Go ahead and use the plasma field, and then go ahead and use R1. Once you've used that, go ahead and use R2. And when you use R2, like I said, you can use the accelerated ability on L2 triangle or L2Y, which is going to increase the damage output for your plasma pulse rifle. I'm pretty sure I just completely missed that plasma field. Yeah. And then after that, now you've got your missile launcher or your mortars. So what you would do is you would use circle and then just keep spamming R2 all the way up until the boss is dead or until you run out of resources. Now if you run out of resources before the boss dies, you would just go, oh the boss is dead. So if you run out of resources before the boss dies, you would just go back into your machine gun, build up your stacks all over again. And then once you built up your stacks, you're going to go into the plasma rifle while your um, while your missile launcher is recharging all over again. So once your missile launcher is recharging at least up to 15, you're going to go back into it and then just go ahead and keep using it until you run out of resources all over again. Because the missile launcher is pretty much going to be where most, like a lot of your damage is going to be coming from, is your missile launcher and your plasma rifle. But like I said, they both require resources, so you're not going to really be focusing a lot on using your you are going to be focusing on using everything, but you're not going to be focusing on damage with the machine gun. And yeah, that's pretty much it though. Like, I guess I could show you guys the ultimate ability or whatever. So that's what it does. It's a nice AoE ability as well. And then this is the teleport. So you can see the little dot there. I'm gonna just go ahead and put it over there. And it lasts for quite some time too, so you can just do all this stuff. And then you're gonna have to, you have a timer also on the bottom left corner. You'll see it, and it's ticking. While it's ticking down, you can just teleport, you know, whenever, as long as you have within like 2 to 3 seconds is about the safe time, I would say. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If this video helped you out at all, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see other videos or other classes, let me know as well. And that's pretty much it. This is All Day Any Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.